When I planned my daughter Lily's 16th birthday, I wanted it to be perfect, a memory she'd treasure for life. The backyard was decorated with fairy lights. The cake was shaped like a butterfly, and her friends filled the air with laughter. My wife, Emily, moved through the crowd, smiling, pretending everything was fine. But deep down, I've been sensing something off between us for months. The late-night texts, the guarded phone, the unexplained absences, it all built up quietly, like a storm waiting to strike. My younger brother, Ryan, was there too, cracking jokes, hugging guests, and acting like he owned the place. We'd grown distant over the years, but I'd invited him because Lily adored her uncle. She called him her cool uncle, and I wanted piece of the day. I didn't know then that his presence would destroy everything I thought I knew about my family. As the evening went on, Lily stood in the center of the yard, surrounded by everyone she loved. I brought out the cake, candles glowing, while guests sang happy birthday. She smiled at me with the same dimple her mother had, and I felt proud, so proud, to be her dad. I had no idea that smile would haunt me for the rest of my life. When the song ended, Ryan raised his glass of champagne. "Let's hear it for my beautiful niece," he shouted. Everyone clapped, cheering, until he added, "And for me, the man who actually made this beautiful girl possible." The laughter around him died instantly. A hush fell. Emily's face turned pale. I froze, unable to process his words. "What did you just say?" I asked slowly, my voice trembling. Ryan looked straight at me, smirking. "You heard me, big brother," he said, his tone dripping with arrogance. 16 years, and you still didn't know. Guess now's as good a time as any to tell the truth. Emily tried to speak, stammering, but I cut her off. My body went cold. "Tell me he's lying," I said. Her silence was louder than any answer. Ryan laughed. "Go ahead, Em," he teased. "Tell him about all those nights when you said you were staying late at work." A few guests gasped. My world collapsed right there, in front of my daughter, my family, and my friends. Lily's eyes filled with tears. "Mom," she whispered. Emily reached for her, but Lily stepped back, shaking her head. I could barely breathe. 16 years. 16 years of loving, teaching, protecting, and believing she was mine, when the truth had been buried beneath lies. I walked away from the crowd, trembling, my mind spinning. Emily followed, begging me to listen. She said it had been a mistake, that it happened before we got married, that she didn't know for sure. But the timing, the resemblance, the guilt in her voice, it all told me what I needed to know. I looked at her and said, "You didn't just destroy our marriage. You stole my fatherhood." Ryan tried to approach me, grinning like it was all a joke. I didn't shout. I didn't punch him. I just looked at him and said quietly, "You're dead to me." Then I went inside, locked the door, and watched from the window as Emily and Lily stood under the lights that suddenly looked so dim. The next few weeks were chaos. Emily moved out. DNA tests confirmed what I already knew. Ryan was Lily's biological father. When Lily found out, she cut them both off. She stayed with me, refusing to see either of them. "You're still my dad," she told me one night, tears rolling down her face. "He might have given me DNA, but you gave me love." Those words broke me and healed me at the same time. But I couldn't let Ryan walk away untouched. Quietly, I began a plan. Ryan worked at my construction firm, a job I'd given him out of brotherly pity. Over the years, he'd taken advantage of my trust, stealing clients and underbidding me behind my back. So I gathered evidence, emails, contracts, and payment trails. When I had enough, I went to the authorities. Within weeks, he was under investigation for fraud. The day he was arrested, I watched from across the street as police escorted him out of his office. His smug expression was gone. Emily tried to call me afterward, begging me to help him. I didn't. I simply told her, "You both chose your path. Now live with it." Months passed. Lily turned her pain into strength, focusing on her studies and music. I sold a house, started fresh in a smaller town, just the two of us. Every morning, when she smiled at me across the breakfast table, I felt a quiet sense of peace. She wasn't my blood, but she was my heart. Years later, when Lily graduated, she asked me to walk her across the stage. As we did, She whispered, "Dad, thank you for staying when they didn't." I smiled, knowing that revenge hadn't just been about ruining Ryan's life. It had been about reclaiming mine. Because in the end, the real victory wasn't in destroying them. It was in choosing to rebuild what they tried to break, and proving that love, not betrayal, defines a true father.